Well, hello guys, this is Kim and Odingo again with Relationship Matters. We're very excited. This is our second episode and we are staying in line with the same topic of issues with trust. We're very excited about this week. It's all about transparency when it comes to your money and your finances. Is it okay to keep funds away from your husband or your wife? Is it okay to be, a little bit secretive about your finances? So today we're here to discuss how do we cope as couples, as wives, as boyfriends, as girlfriends in a relationship. How do we finance? How do we manage our finances? Because I think a lot of couples find themselves, it's one of the biggest breakers, like people have so many problems. They could be getting on well together, but when it comes to money, the issue of finance, a lot of people find themselves broken. There's so many divorces, there's so many broken relationships because they could not see eye to eye when it came to finances. So, Mr. Jackson, are you excited about this?
Extremely excited. Extremely.
You're extremely excited. Have you been keeping finances away from me? Have you been transparent in your spending? In your savings?
I would not say I have, but what I'm saying is this is what we are going to discuss.
Okay.
And I think it's really extremely important to have a very clear vision of what your spouse or your partner's mindset is in reference to finances.
Okay.
Because this is the foundation upon which we often build our economic relationship.
Economic relationship. Like that.
You see, everybody knows when you're getting in a relationship with someone else, everyone is excited about how they're feeling. So I love you, you love me, we have butterflies in our tummy, and all of that beautiful chemical kaleidoscope of emotions. But when it comes down to what I can afford, what you can afford, what we can or can't afford, and what we are going to be doing, and how our family is going to manage, where we are going to live, how we are going to afford it, who is going to be the number one person, the primary person to be paying for these things, what we are going to drive, how the children are going to be educated. This is where relationships and families begin to twist and turn, and we begin to have those undertones, those background those bit of doubts. The husband looks at the wife, the wife look at the husband. No one is saying anything, but there is a bit of hard feelings that will begin to foster because our financial relationship is not where it should be. We did not discuss the finances. All we did was get the love. We got the love correct.
Yeah, and I think a lot of relationships don't really start off by saying, you know what, yeah, I'm falling for you. How good are you with your finances? Nobody really gets into that.
No one says that.
But at the end of the day, it's trying to sort of, the moment you know who you're with, I think over time you sort of develop, you get to know that person. That's why I think back in the days when our parents used to warn us about get to know the person that you are with. These days, a lot of people rush into things. Oh, yes. But I think now that I'm getting older and a little bit wiser, I now understand why our parents made it very, they made a very significant point about getting to know who you are with. So I'm going to kick it off saying, sometimes my opinion, because at the end of the day, you could disagree with me. Sometimes I think it's wise to hide some money from your spouse. So I'm going to kick off with this because the reason why I'm saying sometimes, there is an old saying, my mom used to say something like that. Listen, don't put everything in one pot. You understand? Right. Always keep something back. Always put a little. Listen, save as a couple. You understand? For you and your husband. But make sure you put something aside for yourself. Right. So I grew up with that mentality that I also need to cover as much as I'm covering us, I want to also cover me, because when something happens, You understand? For instance, God forbid, today or tomorrow down the line, the relationship is over. All my pennies are not just in one pot. You understand? I do have something on the side to keep me going.
Right.
Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that I could meet someone who is also lovely, very handsome, perfect husband, very good with the kids, very good with, with the way he treats me. You understand? The way he loves me.
Yes.
But at the same time, he could have some serious money issues.
Right.
He could have some serious big spending issues that I may have not been aware of.
Yes.
You understand? People come to you with baggage, and people come to you with very old habits. This person could have had a gambling problem. Yep. This person could have had a problem with their spending. And this is me being all open and transparent, putting all my pennies, making it known that this is my bank account, this is my credit card, I'm giving you everything, and guess what? Behind my back, you are going to spend money. You understand? You're going into my account, because there are some people who do things like that, go into your account without your permission, because they have access, total access, because you've given them total access. And guess what? When it's time to come and confront and say, listen, you know what? I just realized there's £300 missing from my account. Can you explain this? And now you have a boiling point. Now there's a fight. Like, listen, I thought we are one. I thought what is yours is mine. You understand? And then you realize down the road that person actually is not very good with their money. They have either they have a secret drug habit, or they have a gambling problem. And for me, this is why it's, for me as a woman, I don't think, I do agree with some women who do like to hide some money aside, because sometimes I think until I am 100% satisfied with knowing that my husband got my back, or my spouse got my back, or my boyfriend got my back, and he's not going to do me like this, I think in the meantime, I will not be 100% transparent. This is my opinion on things. You may totally disagree with that. But I do understand why some women do keep away, or even some men. Because tell me, listen, men
have had bad experiences as well.
Yeah, but it's not, listen, the men are not just all guilty. There are women, you give them the credit card, my goodness, they will run that bill up, they will do their nails, they'll buy the clothes. And I am guilty of that. I have bought the clothes and hide it in the wardrobe. And then, Mr. Jackson, you've said to me, oh, baby, this looks new. And I'll say to you, baby, I've had this a very long time ago. This is not new.
And I would say, no, you have not, because I have been keeping an eye on things.
No, you haven't. You don't have a clue. But this is my opinion. So, baby, what do you think on that matter?
Well, what I think is, it's you looking at it as you keeping some secret monies in reference to a situation where you've just entered a relationship, or you're in a relationship but it is not established enough for you to say, well, okay, this is how much I have, this is how much you have, and we are good. You call it secret money, but I believe that in every family should have, first and foremost, most fundamentally, besides having a plan. I mean, I know how I feel. We have our love plan. So I love you, you love me. You treat me right, I treat you right. We don't try to keep secrets from each other. But what about the financial plan? What about the 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year financial plan for that family?
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
It is very important, of critical importance, to put a 15, 20, 30-year financial plan.
And I think that's what couples don't talk about. Nobody talks about a financial plan.
Exactly. It's taboo. These are the kind of things that families don't come together and sit down and discuss. The heads of the family should sit down and discuss, like the governments of countries sit down and discuss what are they going to do to take the country forward for the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. We can sit down as families, as couples, and begin to draft a plan. Even if we don't follow it to the exact
but at
letter,
least we have a plan.
We have a plan. We have an idea as to how we are going to guide our family into the future for the next 10, 15, 20 to 30 years. Right. So in reference to what do we do in terms of our finances, you feel comfortable putting a little something secretly aside. I don't entirely disagree, because I believe that as a couple, we have our couple savings, and individually we should have our own individual savings. And I tell you why. It's for two reasons. Number one is, if you are married and your spouse pass away, we can have the government, you're allowed to have access to your spouse's assets and everything else like that.
Yeah.
If you are not married and you're just a boyfriend or a girlfriend,
Yeah.
you are going to you're going to be very, very restricted from what access you can have, what information you can have, and what
That's a
authority
very
you
good
have.
point,
So,
yeah.
so whether you are married, if you are married or you are unmarried, you have two different. The law sees you completely different.
Okay.
So it's important to understand what position you are in, because if you say, oh man, me and my girlfriend, me and my boyfriend, we are going to save in a joint account, we are going to save, but we're saving together in his account, or we're saving together in her account, you may not have access to it if that person passes away
So
suddenly.
then the secret money becomes useful.
The secret money becomes useful, but I don't see secret money as secret money. I see it as insurance.
Okay. Ooh,
Because you are now...
I like that.
But exactly, you have to. In every relationship, we have to first look out for ourselves before we can begin to look out for the person that we say we love, the person that we want to be life partners with.
So what about the woman who just drains you dry, or the spouse who is prepared to dip into that financial plan and then start just draining you? Like, you have a plan, like you said, but then the other person is not abiding by that plan. They just spend, and there's no explanation to their spending.
Fair enough. Good question. You have to take first and foremost responsibility for you. And what you are going to do. So you put a plan together, and this other person is coming and they are betraying, they are undermining that.
Yeah.
Right? So what do? Well, you can't let them, as you're saying, like you put it, secret. You can't let the other person just have full access to all of your finances, especially if you don't know what their financial education or financial attitude is.
Yeah.
Some people have a financial attitude to make it, spend it, live for the moment.
So do you agree
YOLO, you only live once, so spend it all. Why not?
Yeah. So do you agree that couples should actually find out what their partner's credit score is?
I think that's very important. I think you should do. Yeah.
Just like saying, before we become sexually active, because no, hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. Before we become sexually active, a lot of couples will say, why don't we go for like an HIV, an STD test?
Right,
you understand?
Right.
Because I don't want to put myself at risk, and I don't want to put you at risk.
Right. So
I think we need to take the same approach. Like, listen, now that this thing is serious now.
Right.
We're going to move in together.
Right.
Why don't I get to know what your credit score is, and vice versa, you get to know what my credit score is. Because I think that way we get an understanding of where we stand financially. Since this is going to take us to the next level, because we can't buy a property, we can't move forward, we can't invest in businesses, we can't get ourselves on the ladder, the financial ladder, if we do not know these things.
That's true. That's a very, very valid point. Very important, and I 100% agree.
Yeah, so
100% agree. I think that it is for us to, when we start looking at being with someone else, chemistry is important. We need to feel how we feel towards the person, because it keeps things fresh. It keeps things exciting. It makes us, we are being 100% authentic with ourselves and with the person. We are happy to spend our time and our life with them. We are happy to sacrifice with them. We are happy to go through thick and thin with them, because when we look at them, they make us feel a certain way, and we make them feel a certain way. We have that kind of chemical reaction and relationship.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of the financial situation, it is most important that you understand, you know what the other person's situation is.
Yeah.
You understand what that means, and then you know what that means to you. And you begin to understand, am I going to be happy with this? Can we manage? And with that in mind, you move forward with an open mind and with full transparency.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I think that's all. We've covered it, to be quite honest with you. And I'm happy we actually agreed on this topic, because I thought you mean like see it from a different view. But baby, we've been together for so long. We do as a couple. I must admit, we have a solid financial plan. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys could benefit from this. There are lots of couples out there who are trying to make it together. But check your your finances, and there's nothing wrong with that. And be transparent as much as you can.
Be honest.
And remember, there's nothing wrong in having a little secret savings. So be blessed. Have a lovely Sunday, and we look forward to speaking to you or
Thanks for
having
joining us
another
again.
episode next week, Sunday.